Hello, good morning, and welcome to Niger Delta Today. Coming to you live from our studio right here in Port Harcourt. Silverbird Television it is, and it's a very wetty, cold Wednesday morning. Wherever you're watching us from, just know that this is that time when we bring you, of course, the news like no one does, and we have a way of making the news so understandable to you that you enjoy it and get to participate in the news as well. Well, today on Niger Delta Today, we are looking at something that I choose to say a looming crisis that, if not checked, could also just be finding queues at our filling stations. We started yesterday, we talked about it, but a lot of issues were unclear. And like I always say, half information is actually worse than no information, because when you have half information, you can be misunderstood so many times. All right, we'll also have someone from IPMAN today, who is the acting chairman of IPMAN right here in River State, to clear some of the issues that were not really clear yesterday during the telephone interview with the the president of the zone. I'm talking about IPMAN zonal president. And well, we'll take a break at this point. So when we come back, we'll bring you these full details. My name is Deborah Abalama. Welcome to Niger Delta Today.
With a gradual lifting of COVID-19 restrictions across the country, life seems to be returning to something close to normal. But is it really? The coronavirus is still out there and remains deadly and highly contagious, and only too willing to strike again and again and again. Do not drop your guard. Maintain good personal hygiene, avoid overcrowded places, and more significantly, get vaccinated. Remember, it's never over till it's completely over. This is a message from the Silverbird Group. Only one beauty pageant spawned the first Miss World from Black Africa. Only one pageant births 5 titles in one night. Only one pageant stands out consistently from the rest. Because when it's all said and done, there can only be truly one. The most beautiful girl in Nigeria, Africa's most prestigious beauty pageant, is here again. Get your forms now for the 34th edition of the MBGN. To register, visit www.mbgnsilverbird.com or follow our social media handles at Silverbird MBGN on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for details. Don't be told, you can be the one. MBGN, the true essence of beauty. Only one beauty pageant spawned the first Miss World from Black Africa. Only one pageant births 5 titles in one night. Only one pageant stands out consistently from the rest. Because when it's all said and done, there can only be truly one. The most beautiful girl in Nigeria, Africa's most prestigious beauty pageant, is here again. Get your forms now for the 34th edition of the MBGN. To register, visit www.mbgnsilverbird.com or follow our social media handles at Silverbird MBGN on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for details. Don't be told, you can be the one. MBGN, the true essence of beauty. With a gradual lifting of COVID-19 restrictions across the country, life seems to be returning to something close to normal. But is it really? The coronavirus is still out there and remains deadly and highly contagious, and only too willing to strike again and again and again, do not drop your guard. Maintain good personal hygiene, avoid overcrowded places, and more significantly, get vaccinated. Remember, it's never over till it's completely over. This is a message from the Silverbird Group. Only one beauty pageant spawned the first Miss World from Black Africa.
All right, welcome back to Niger Delta today, and let's bring you the news as we would do usually. And you know how I bring you the news, the fusion of the paper headlines as well as some other top stories making the round in the Niger Delta in Nigeria. Of course, you know the Niger Delta does not stand alone. Whatever affects Nigeria affects the Niger Delta. Okay, we're going straight to the headlines, and we're starting with the papers. And we start with this, Nigeria. And the first headliner that I will give you this morning is Supreme Court Justices to, of course, the CJ, who is, of course, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. This one is saying, they're saying to him, you are corrupt. 14 justices accused Chief Justice of Nigeria of being irresponsible and of a lot of moral decadence, that he has he's morally decayed, as well as they also accuse him of so many other crimes, saying that they blame the most of the kangaroo judgments that they have been getting from the Supreme Court on him. Well, this is what is coming at this time, and this is coming from, of course, a coalition of some justices who feel like it's time to speak up. Well, does this accusation hold any water? It's for the CJ to respond, and of course, let's know where all this go to. And well, they have accused him of all this, and they had saying that at this juncture they can't keep quiet anymore. They have to go forward. And well, would they be able to prove all these allegations? We know, of course, the judiciary is the last bus stop for the common man and the last hope for anybody. But these days, of course, you hear of accusation of compromises here and there. Can we really say that we get the actual justice from this system? Question for you and I. All right, we'll go over to the next, and then right here we have Daily Sun. And on Daily Sun this Wednesday morning, the major headliner says Buhari opens up on Emefele's ambition. And well, you all are aware that at the time when they were all running for, at that point, they were still not sure who was going to be the presidential candidate, and everybody indicated interest, about 28 of them. And amongst these people who aspired at that point was Emefele. Now, what we don't know is if at that point he really did buy a form, because it was said that he bought a form, but there was a back and forth whether he could contest with that election without resigning as CBN governor. Eventually, he pulled out of the race. So the president on this particular paper has, there's a story there that actually gives details of the explanations of the president as regards to Emefele's ambition. And then it says it's left for CBN's board of directors to take action, rules out removal of oil subsidy for now, and he also seeks global action against IPOB. So that's what we have on the headlines this morning. We'll take a short break. When we come back, it continues.
The true essence of beauty. With a gradual lifting of COVID-19 restrictions across the country, life seems to be returning to something close to normal. But is it really? The coronavirus is still out there and remains deadly and highly contagious, and only too willing to strike again and again and again. Do not drop your guard. Maintain good personal hygiene, avoid overcrowded places, and more significantly, get vaccinated. Remember, it's never over till it's completely over. This is a message from the Silverbird Group. Only one beauty pageant spawned the first Miss World from Black Africa. Only one pageant births 5 titles in one night. Only one pageant stands out consistently from the rest. Because when it's all said and done, there can only be truly one. The most beautiful girl in Nigeria, Africa's most prestigious beauty pageant, is here again. Get your forms now for the 34th edition of the MBGN. To register, visit www.mbgnsilverbird.com or follow our social media handles at SilverbirdMBGN on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for details. Don't be told, you can be the one. MBGN, the true essence.
Okay, glad to know that you're still there with us. Sorry for that break. All right, we'll go back to the headlines of the news. And on the headlines of the news, we have Daily Sun here. I'll take that headline again that says Buhari opens up on Emefele's ambition. And then it went on to talk about all the corners. And he says that it's left for CBN's board of directors to take action. Rules out removal of subsidy. You are aware that for a while it's been like a roller coaster back and forth. Should this be removed or not? The president has cleared that up, that for now it won't be removed. I did actually made instances yesterday where I talked about the fact that for now fuel is not just for vehicular movement. Fuel is a necessity because we have very poor power supply in Nigeria, and fuel actually is used for an alternative power source, which is the generators. Of course, we know that. And at this juncture, it serves as a necessity, not just for people who are car owners. So you can see that taking off the fuel subsidy at this point would actually cause untold hardship, because it will now be directed by the hands of the international market. That is to say that whatever is sold, whatever they buy, how they buy the refined crude is what they will sell. But talking about the refined crude, I keep asking myself, this subsidy will have millions of dollars billions of naira every year being allocated to subsidy, and I ask myself, can't this money be channeled to making our refineries okay? I mean, I'm told that it runs into 500 billion, even more than that, what is expended on subsidy on a yearly basis. And you ask yourself, how much does it take to actually have a functional refinery? All right, and so we're going to look at this very critically, and also get to talk to, of course, independent marketers to actually know in the real sense whether this subsidy that is being paid, because most of them would say, I've actually had offline interview with some of these independent marketers who claim that the federal government owes them bulk of money. And if you look at it, if it trickles down, you find out that even the subsidy they're talking about might just be a coerce. It might just be like a mirage, that it's not really happening in the real sense. So what is there to channel this money into building our refineries, or even making the ones we have functional? You know, it's you look at the most of these things and you ask yourself, where are we going with this? Well, it brings us to, of course, what we're talking about. Even in the subsidy, there are still crises going on, and this is the reason for the resurfacing of this pockets of scarcity you see around Nigeria. The independent marketers are saying that we are buying this product for 161. Before we add our logistics and all per liter, you find out that we're expending about 170, 160, 68, 170, you know, and there's no way we can sell at 165 and be in business. So like I told you, we're going to have Honorable Nwanne, who's joining us later on, just after the headline news, to talk about this lingering crisis in, of course, with IPMAN, and as well as whether the freedom we feel in Port Harcourt at this time, whether it's we're going to be enjoyed for long, because the measure that we were told yesterday on air seemed like a very short-term measure. I'm looking at it like, are you going to ask people to keep losing so they can please the government? You know, I don't see that as business. So we'll talk about this a lot more, shortly. But let's go over to the next headline. And on, of course, News Direct, Nigerian News Direct, we have this morning as their major headliner, ministerial appointment. Buhari nominates Omana Adegoroye, 5 others for Senate confirmation. Okay, and if you want to get more details on that, you need to go to check out the News Direct. And well, you can see that Omana is coming from Akwa Ibom. What that means is that Apabio did not make it. There were also rumors that his name was also submitted from another quota. We're not sure how true that is anyways. But from this story now, it tells you that the ministers who actually resigned to pursue their ambition as in the APC as presidential aspirants are not going to come back. That's what it looks like. And then we go over to the Nation. And on the Nation this morning, we have that why we dropped subsidy removal plan by Buhari. He goes on to explain the reasons for his action, which is, of course, that at this time, the country does not seem ready for it, especially in this delicate time when there's a transition almost going on. I'm talking about the electioneering period. It will trigger a lot of protests here and there, and it might cause some sort of instability at this point. Well, this is actually from the Nation, and then we'll go over to the Punch. And on the Punch this morning, as a major headliner, we have there, fuel scarcity worsens, black market booms at 300 naira per liter. Well, this is actually going to form our major discussion this morning on the show. So stay tuned as we get on with the show. But we'll go over to the next headline. We have there, of course, this one is from The Guardian. And on The Guardian this morning, it says, Buhari to Western governments, Nigeria operates own economy model. Whatever that means. Well, I have to agree with them because, you look at the systems, you ask yourself, why do we have budgetary allocations that seem partial? How can you tell me you have a population that constitutes more of the youths, and empowerment gets very low attention? You have a country that suffers from power problem, and every year money has been allocated and no result. There is no way to, at the end of the day, look at what you have spent and balance up. We really operate a very special economy, and I hope that the next president will learn how to look at all what the world is doing and align in some ways, because the president is defending and saying Nigeria has a specialty. It operates its own special kind of economy. And then we go over to leadership, and on leadership this morning, it says stakeholders worried over January collection date for new PVC. Well, I don't know why that should be a worry. If you want to find out more details, you go over to leadership and get more from there. And then we move over to Daily Independent, and on the major headliner there, it says Nigeria far better off now than I met it, says Buhari. We would like to know his yardstick for all this assessments, because as of the last time I checked, the index of at the moment now, what we're going through, look at the inflation and everything, I think at this moment would have hit over like 6 point something if they want to be realistic with the index, but they keep making it look like it's not a problem and that we are doing okay. But we know that if we're doing okay to trickle to the streets, the inflation at the moment is really, really off it. And no ordinary Nigerian at this time is happy. In short, if you're walking on the street and you need to talk to a Nigerian, you might need to add some decorum and be careful, because at this time everybody seems angry. I don't know what how this is going to go, but at this time the president is saying that he thinks he is faring better than his predecessor fared. And well, the question is for you, there's a Nigerian, are you faring better now than before? I am not. I don't know about you. So we'll go over to the next headline, and it says national economy, no marketer must sell petrol above 165 per litre, FG insists. How can they maintain this? For now, Port Harcourt seems lucky. River State seems lucky, because I don't know how the Independent Marketers Association is handling this, but we are yet to see the scarcity in River State. But how long can this be sustained? Because will the IPMAN members here just see that it's working for the others in the other states and decide to join? We are going to be talking about this, like I earlier on told you. And then we'll go over to Daily Trust. And on Daily Trust, it says how unresolved feud between CJN, talking about the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and justices led to public spat. Well, it's been more like trading of words for the judiciary at this time, as a collection of about 14 justices have stood up to challenge the Chief Justice of Nigeria, saying that he has been involved in gross misconduct and doesn't uphold that office with dignity. They went on to say there's lack of accessibility, he cannot be accessed, and denial of logistics responsible, and sources. They also went ahead to accuse that your tenure height is the height of decadence. They've had the worst decadence in the judiciary system under his watch. They also accused that you are dancing naked in the market. This is what the CJN, his Muhammad, is replying them, that they are dancing naked in the market. If you want to find out details about this story, you have to grab a copy of Daily Trust, or perhaps read it up online to get more details on it. And there's another major headliner here here that says 40 days after Buhari names 7 ministerial nominees eventually. Well, that is the much we can take this morning on Niger Delta Today news coming from round the world. Just before we go, I'd like to play you a video, and on this particular video, Chris Okoti, I don't know whether that name strikes a bell. I think around Monday came up with on Sunday during his church service, came up with a plea, and quite comical, you would ask. Why would you be asking people during an electionary period to allow interim government? And his reason is because he feels like he is the one that can handle Nigeria. Well, let us get to listen to him. Whether it makes sense to you or it makes you laugh is up to you to decide that. But this one, for me, I feel it's unnecessary, and I don't know why he didn't actually come. Normally he would come up to run for it. He has run for president countless times. I mean, I'll be thinking whether him and Atiku, who has run more, but I think Atiku has done more than him, because Atiku has done about 6. He's known for running for presidency, and he hasn't been lucky to get the fan base or to get the followership that would give him that slot. However, this time he tilted differently and said, well, he thinks the only way he can come in is through interim government that will be agreed by the people in power this time, and called on the presidential candidates of the various parties to step aside for him to be the interim president of Nigeria, so that they can see what he can do. I will listen to this, and when we come back, of course, we'll take a break and then get to bring in our guest. We have Honorable Nwanne with us this morning. He is acting IPMAN chairman, Rivers State. We'll be talking about this looming crisis in the petroleum sector. How can we solve it? How can IPMAN survive without profit, as they have claimed from the national quotas that they are running right now at a loss in business? We will be right back on Niger Delta Today. Stay with us.
Your Excellency Peter Obi, I heard you say one time that you are a trader. That you are not an economist, but you are a trader. I used to trade in the market at Ogbete in Enugu, and I understand the dynamics of that profession. And I know that it is your ambition to lead Nigeria at this juncture in our political evolution. This is not about you or your ability or your moral perpendicularity or your rectitude. This is about a fatalistic system that destroys, has turned our girls into prostitutes, our young men into brigands, ritualists. It is the system that is faulty ab initio, and you cannot operate in that system. And that is why I'm asking you that for the sake of the Nigerian people that you love, you would at this time make the necessary sacrifice so we can guarantee a future for our children. And I'm asking you to support an interim government that will heal the wounds of our people, that will bring peace, restore the Nigerian brotherhood, an egalitarian society that would rekindle hope. For there is an intrinsic power that is embedded in our national psyche that must now be summoned to rekindle hope in the Nigerian fraternity. And I'm asking you to support an interim government. Subscribe your support to this phenomenon, this mechanism, as the only way forward.
Okay, you did listen to that, and of course you heard for yourself the honest appeal by this man who is obviously tired of contesting for election, and at this point has resorted to see if we can, pally with the other people who have succeeded to have party tickets to see whether they can allow him. This is ambition to eventually happen as an interim president. But just before we go over to our guest, I'd like to give you the names of the ministerial nominees. And evidently, Rivers State seems missing from here. Rivers State is a very special state. Everything that comes from the Niger Delta is special, especially Rivers State. All right, so let's go over to get to find out who made the list. And right here we have, of course, from Abia State, we have Henry Ikechukwu Iko, who has been submitted to be the ministerial nominee from Abia State. And then from Akwa Ibom State, we have Omana Okon Omana. And that is to say that these are new person coming from Akwa Ibom. And you know that Godswill Akpabio resigned to contest for presidential election, which he eventually stepped down. So you ask yourself, was it that he wasn't sure he was going to run? You resigned from your job to contest for an election that you did not also contest for eventually. Nigeria is a very, very fantastic place to practice politics. And then, of course, we have, of course, Ebonyi State, and the name here is Ekumankama Joseph Nkama. That is an Ebonyi rep that would be a minister soon. We would know their position by the time their names are submitted to the National Assembly for screening, and then they would now be sworn in and given a designation by the president. And lastly, here we have Imo State, and Imo State is Good Luck Nana Opia. River State is not here, obviously. Okay. All right, I'm meant to understand that there's also a name from River State. Oh, really? I didn't see that. Oh, really? Oh, really? And we have Odum Odi. River State, that name, is it Odum Udi? I think that was, I'm going to verify whether they made a mistake in the name, because Odum Udi sounds familiar. He was a former local government chairman of Abua Udwa, but I think this paper must have made a mistake and didn't give the name correctly. I'll get to verify that. But River State is here. I thought they were not here. They always last because of the arrow. Okay, so well, we have from River State, Odum Odi. I'm going to verify that name like I told you. And then, of course, we have Ibrahim El Yakubu from Kano State, Ademola Adewole Adegoroye from Ondo State. These are the names so far that has been submitted. Okay, so we'll actually just go straight to the discussion for today, and we are looking at the looming fuel crisis. We're lucky in River State, but I hear that in other states, I'm talking about close by states like Bayelsa, Delta, Edo, Ondo, Lagos, Abuja, there is already fuel scarcity, and the ones who want to sell open in the evening to sell above pump price. So that is actually what is called artificial inflation, because IPMAN has said there's no scarcity. Actually, we are just not going to sell for the required 165, and FG say you must sell for this. But in River State, we have a different scenario. The IPMAN River State is doing something different. So let's go on straight to have a chat with this gentleman in my studio. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, join me as I welcome this beautiful morning. On set with me, Honorable Nwanne Tochukwu Dominic. He is the acting IPMAN chairman, River State. He is also vice chairman. He was vice chairman before he started acting. So, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Nice to have you on set.
Thank you.
So yesterday we had the chairman for the zone, and he told us quite some things that wasn't really clear on air. Results, we decided to call someone that would be in the studio live so there would not be network interruption, so that we can get the message correctly. So tell us, what is the situation of the looming fuel crisis in River State at this point? Because we haven't noticed any queue, or perhaps we haven't noticed also any increase in the prices, pump prices of the gasoline.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. I want to say, for clarity's sake, that I was the acting chairman of IPMAN Port Harcourt unit until yesterday evening, when the substantive chairman was reinstated.
Okay, was he on suspension?
Or he was out of duty.
Obele something.
Dr. Joseph Obele.
Just Dr. Joseph Obele. Okay, he was on suspension. So he's back now. He's been reinstalled.
He was out of duty for some time, but resumed office yesterday.
Okay, so let us go on to the business of the day. I asked you a question. Let's revisit the question.
Okay.
And I asked, we had an interview yesterday, and we were meant to understand there are things River State's chapter is doing differently, and they're appealing on their members to stay put. And there's a way they have approached it that seems like a soft landing for the IPMAN in River State. But we didn't quite get those details clearly. I'd like you to clear that up. What is the situation right now as regards to the IPMAN cries and the fuel scarcity that seems to be looming in Nigeria?
Okay, it's not far-fetched. What we are experiencing today as regarding the fuel issue is gap in supply of these products from NNPC. Recall that NNPC we have always said are the sole importers of this product, and all this product comes through them. And when there is gap, as in not covering the distributing channels, what you see is what you expect. What you expect is what you're seeing today.
Okay, so I asked the question, which I asked yesterday. What is Rivers State IPMAN doing differently that this fuel scarcity or the increase in pop price is not affected here yet? Because your members from outside Port Harcourt have already started doing their thing. They've already started creating an artificial inflation to ensure that the commodity is too sourced for, which gives them the enablement to increase their pump price and sell at what they want. At this time, I hear from other states that is selling as much as 300 naira per liter black market, and then from the filling station you have 200 naira, between 190 to 200 naira. That's what it's selling in the filling station. But it's not so in River State. Tell us the reason for this beautiful thing that is happening.
Okay, I would say is because for now members may still have some old stock that they can offer to the public at the regulated price. But I will also say that if what is happening now continues without government putting check, it will only take a little time and River State will key into what is happening.
Okay, while we were on yesterday, an independent marketer called in. I want to believe that he is an independent marketer because I don't have that confirmation. But he gave the name of his filling station and did say that at this time they are buying the products from the depot in River State here in Port Harcourt. I'm talking about the depot outskirts Port Harcourt. And they are buying, at the moment, they are buying for 161 per litre. And this trickles to about 168 naira by the time you add up their logistics to convey this product to their various filling stations. And as an independent marketer yourself, because before you can be an IPMAN ESCO, you have to be a filling station owner. So do you think that it's sustainable to say that you would buy a product and expend 168 per litre and sell for 165? Is it visible?
No, it's not. I will want to inform you that for some time now, the government-owned depot, the NNPC depot, have been starved with this product, where you can only source this product from the private tank farms here in Port Harcourt. And you can only get this product at regulated price, only if you load from the government depot. But since the products are not gotten there, to remain in business, who have no alternative than to buy from the private tank farms, who sells to us at their own prices above the government regulated prices. And in business, ordinarily you will not buy a product at 1 naira, add logistics and other overhead that goes with the business, and go back to sell the product at 1 naira to the public. It's not Father Christmas. We are not running a charity organization. We are in business. And also considering the cost of diesel, which, remember that Nigeria still suffers energy problem. Our members spend too much money in powering the stations using AGO, which sells at between 800 and 700 naira today. And when you add all those overhead costs in the cost of the product, there is no way you can sell at that regulated pump price of 165, and that is what is happening today. And that calls for government urgent intervention. They have to put their heads together and see what to do, and urgently to cushion the effect of what is happening today.
Okay, let me visit the interview with the chairman of the zone that I spoke with yesterday. He did say that they had to do physical cajoling of the members to keep them to be to stay action at the moment now, that they shouldn't affect what is happening in the other parts, just so that the citizenry in River State, the people who live here, can enjoy the availability of the product at the normal price. But if you look at it very well, if the cajoling, he had told us they buy from the depot, but you are saying now that most people have to buy from tank farms as a result of non-availability of this product at the depot. If the case is as you have painted it right now, would you be surprised if by tomorrow morning the IPMAN members decide to flounce the order to do what they want? Would there be any consequence, since the IPMAN in River State has already said we don't want to join these people at this time? I don't know whether he actually spoke the mind of the organization when he said that yesterday. I want to be sure we're on the same page.
I have not gotten any correspondence from the zone of IPMAN. I will say, as at today, this business is driven by the market force. You cannot get this product at price above the regulated price and also sell at regulated price. It's not workable. The order you are saying today, I would just liken it to a graveyard order. Our business, we are running out of business silently. It's not because we are comfortable with the situation, but considering the impact and how much the citizens have suffered, we will offer our own little contribution in making sure that the masses they have endured a lot. So it's not because we are enjoying the situation, but I'm scared how much we can continue to operate within this environment.
Since I'm speaking with you in two capacity as the acting, I beg your pardon, you just corrected me, the vice chairman of River State IPMAN, as well as an owner of a filling station.
Yes.
What can you describe the loss? How bad is it at this time?
Before now,
percentage.
Yes, I would liken it to maybe we have operated with a small margin before now. Then effect of AGO, I think diesel, has further squeezed our margin. Ordinarily, in business, you ought to have 10% of your investment as profit. But as I speak to you, with the current situation, I doubt if stations are operating with 2%.
Okay, well, let's look at this holistically. What do you think can be the solution or the way forward at this juncture? Because the federal government has made it very clear that you people must sell at 165, and they are not listening to these cries. What do you think could be the way forward at this juncture? What do you prefer as a solution that can help the situation at this point? Because eventually the citizenry are the ones that will suffer it. The residents in Nigeria are the ones that will suffer it. What is your take?
It's simple. I would advise the federal government to look inwardly. Make use of their own depots. Bring this product to your own depot where marketers can get this product at the regulated price of, I think, 148 naira 17 kobo. Then when you add other overheads, you can comfortably sell this product at 165 regulated pump price. But whereby you cannot get this product at 148 naira 17 kobo, and rather you source this product from the alternative sources at 161 naira at yesterday 50 kobo, then when you add transportation costs, other expenses, and what have you, this product will be with you at something within the region of 170 and 168 naira. Advise me how to go about that business if we go by that. So the solution I think will help us is, one, government should come back to their own depot, and whatever is making them not use their depots in distribution of these products should be put together where marketers can get this product at that regulated price. Recall in this state, in River State, we are some stations before now you can get this product even at price below 165 naira. Some will sell 163 naira, 162 naira, 164 naira, depending the margin that is comfortable with you, that you are comfortable with. But on this particular scenario, nobody will invest 1 naira and you expect the person to also offer the same product at the same 1 naira. It can't happen. So government should look inwardly. What is the problem with our refineries? They should expedite action in whatever measure they are applying in revamping the refineries, so that we can refine locally. Before now they have been bringing product, this PMS, premium motor spirit, with fuel that is popularly used. It has been coming to Port Harcourt refinery depot, but all of a sudden, it's over 3 months now, we've not seen any volume of this product there, that made marketers resort to buying from the tank farms, who says to you at their own preferred prices. So for us to get it right, one, government should look inwardly, put the refineries in order, make sure that their own depots are wet with this product. Then marketers can get this product at that regulated price and will be willing to sell to the public at that regulated price.
All right, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, of course, the show continues. Stay with us.
Only one beauty pageant spawned the first Miss World from Black Africa. Only one pageant births 5 titles in one night. Only one pageant stands out consistently from the rest. Because when it's all said and done, there can only be truly one. The most beautiful girl in Nigeria, Africa's most prestigious beauty pageant, is here again. Get your forms now for the 34th edition of the MBGN. To register, visit www.mbgnsilverbird.com or follow our social media handles at SilverbirdMBGN on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for details. Don't be told, you can be the one. MBGN, the true essence of beauty. With a gradual lifting of COVID-19 restrictions across the country, life seems to be returning to something close to normal. But is it really? The coronavirus is still out there and remains deadly and highly contagious, and only too willing to strike again and again and again, do not drop your guard. Maintain good personal hygiene, avoid overcrowded places, and more significantly, get vaccinated. Remember, it's never over till it's completely over. This is a message from the Silverbird Group. Only one beauty pageant spawned the first Miss World from Black Africa. Only one pageant births 5 titles in one night. Only one pageant stands out consistently from the rest. Because when it's all said and done, there can only be truly one. The most beautiful girl in Nigeria, Africa's most prestigious beauty pageant, is here again. Get your forms now for the 34th edition of the MBGN. To register, visit www.mbgnsilverbird.com or follow our social media handles at SilverbirdMBGN on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for details. Don't be told, you can be the one. MBGN, the true essence of beauty.
Welcome back to Niger Delta today, and we have been looking at something really interesting that affects everybody in Nigeria, because I do believe that I would still say that fuel is not just consumed, PMS is not consumed by just motorists. It is consumed by people who actually need it for several things, for their businesses to stay powered. A lot of people do businesses that revolve around power supply. Like if you have a coal room, you would need a generator, because definitely you have the risk of things you have in that particular coal room getting spoiled if you have to depend on PHED, of course, whatever power supply medium you have in your state. You would actually run at loss if you run a business that depends on purely power without having an alternative source. And I say PMS remains a necessity as at now until power problem is fixed. We have been speaking with Mr. Nwanne Dominic, and we are looking at the looming fuel crisis in Nigeria and the solution to IPMAN's plight. IPMAN has come up to say that they are running at a loss and they can't continue like this. Reason for the onslaught of course, the queues you've seen in different places. I'm talking about outside Port Harcourt. He has already explained to us, giving us a back, but let's go back to the discussion. There was really something interesting before the break you talked about, which is the possibility of Nigerian government fixing the refineries. I will take it from there. There also is another solution, which I think is the modular refineries. And we understand how the black market thrived in Port Harcourt, which led to the suit, which of course polluted the environment and still does, because there's still pickets of it here and there. Some mornings you wake up and you still see the black dirt on your car, which means that it's still, but it's minimal at this point. Now, do you think that if the refineries, I'm talking about the major refineries, are not workable, government should now concentrate on now financing modular refineries? Because they are smaller and they can still serve a need. If you have about 5 in Delta State, 5 in River State, since they are more affordable and they don't require the ambiguity of the major refinery. Do you think this could be a solution as well?
Yes, I believe that when government resolved to issuing licenses for modular refineries, it was targeted at addressing this issue of fuel crisis in the nation. But it doesn't end at that. Remember that the industry has been regulated, and these modular refineries will be operated by individuals, by private sector. And an investor will always like to invest on environment that is safe. I mean, they will have reason to invest and be sure of recouping, having returns on an investment. So that takes me to the deregulation policies of the government. I believe that what is still keeping them from floating these modular refineries are the regulations that are on ground. Until the system is completely deregulated.
Okay, just like the power sector.
Yes, where the investors can be sure of how to go about their investment without government restrictions. And recall that it takes a huge of money to invest in such ventures. So for you to bring in such investment, you have to be very sure.
Well, talking about deregulation, I still also would like to go in deeper there, because deregulation in the real sense in Nigeria, there is no sector that is not still monitored. The National Communication Commission monitors the activities of the telecom. So even in their privatization and in their freedom that they have, they are still restricted to do what they want.
Yes.
So if you say that they would need to be fully on their own to sell at what they want to sell, in other words, that's what you're trying to say, wouldn't that lead to a chaotic system where people will just do what they want and create artificial inflation in the country? Do you think it's a good idea?
No, not actually. Why government plays a supervisory role, the investors ought to have their own drive for their investment, what they choose to invest, how they choose to invest, and it will usher in competition because many players will be involved. Let's just take telecommunication as an example, like you rightly said. Before now, we know what it takes to float a communication business, but with coming in place of the commercialization of the tele system, today in this country, there was a time you would ordinarily be given free SIM card. Unlike before, during the early time of this GSM, I remember some of us bought the same SIM card for 25,000, 30,000 naira. But today, what is happening? Because it's free. It's open now for many players. The same thing will happen in this industry when it's fully deregulated and people will come in. Many investors will come in. Competition will set in. Your source of this product may be different from my source of. I may source it cheaper than you and sell below your own price, and it will force the price down. Competition will set in. We are not ruling out government involvement, but government will be involved to some certain extent. I mean, being sure of the quality and quantity you offer to the public, but how the investor drives and moves his business should be for the investor.
Okay, you actually have been talking. I've been talking with. You have been listening to an ESCO from the IPMAN chapter. I'm talking about Rivers State chapter. He is in the person of Mr. Nwanne Dominic, and we've been looking at the issues revolving around the fuel crisis that has been looming in other states. And from the look of things, I did ask him earlier on, what would be the consequences if your members in Port Harcourt, after you have cajoled and begged, open tomorrow and decide to follow suit with other people? He didn't quite answer that question. So it leaves us at the part that we can just wake up in the morning and find out that the Port Harcourt IPMAN members are tired of losing and will come back. What is the way forward with this? We would be getting to the government to get the government side of this. And the FG has insisted that they are not going to go above that price. It has to be regulated at 165, despite the cries of these people and the concerns that they have raised. And at this point, we do not really know where this takes us to. It looks like we're at the point of where we don't actually see the way forward. And we look at also the federal government's inability to really refine our refineries, refine them to a point where they can be capable to produce enough that we need to sustain. I'm talking about Rivers State sustaining itself as well as other states, So you look at this and you just say that, of course, where does this lead us to? A government that would just not give a proper solution to issues and just play around it. Nigeria is going to get better someday. I'm hopeful, and I know that I'll be alive when that happens. It's not far again, it's close by. That's why you need to get your PVC. Get your PVC so that you can decide what happens in the next election. Thank you very much, Mr. Dominic, for coming on the program.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. We do pray that your members keep understanding and the cajoling keeps working and we don't see queues in Port Harcourt.
You pray that our members keep suffering silently.
I don't want to run at loss, but I mean, the kind gesture of being understanding at this point and allowing, it to roll and see if the federal government can concede, it might work, Thanks for the soft landing you guys are giving people in River State. It's a good one. All right, that's the much we can take on the program today. Tomorrow is another time on the program. It's Niger Delta Today. I'll come your way 11 a.m. My name is Deborah Balama. It's been a great time staying with you. See you tomorrow morning. Bye.
Thank you.
During the gubernatorial and National Assembly elections. We must, however, resist the pressure of selling our votes. The future of all Nigerians